There's a kind of faith that is loud and emotional, but then there is a kind of faith that is steady and rooted. The purposeful woman is learning the second because as we move into position into what God has promised us, there's a question that we must ask ourselves. What does strong faith actually look like in daily life? Not just in a moment of worship, not a moment of emotional breakthrough, but in ordinary days. When nothing around you seems to be changing, many women say they trust God, but when life becomes quiet, they begin to feel uncertain. They wonder if they've missed something or they feel behind. Yet, some of the most powerful movements in Scripture happen in silence and in preparation and in obedience. Strong faith is rarely dramatic in the beginning. It is usually quiet, consistent, and deeply anchored. One of the clearest pictures for us is Noah. Scripture tells us in Genesis 6 and 13 through 22 that Noah began building the ark long before he ever saw rain. There had been no flood. There was no cultural framework for what God was asking him to do. There was no external evidence, and yet Noah built. He did not wait for confirmation in the natural. He responded to revelation in the spirit. He ordered his life around something he had not yet experienced. And this is what positioning faith looks like for us. It is not reckless or emotional. It is structured. It is steady. It is intelligent obedience. Noah did not build the ark just in the moment of excitement. He built it through years of repetition, focus, and discipline. Every day that he continued to build, he was choosing faith over appearance. He was choosing alignment over approval. He was choosing long-term obedience over short-term validation. And many of you are in this exact place. You are building stability in your emotions. You are building boundaries in your relationships. And you're building rhythms in your spiritual life. You're building maturity in how you respond to disappointment. And at times, we know it may seem slow. You may feel unseen, but this does not mean nothing is happening. In fact, it often means that finally your foundation is strong enough to receive what is coming. So, positioning faith does not mean that you wait until you see the rain. You start to prepare your life in advance. You build before the evidence appears. You become the woman who can steward what you have prayed for long before it arrives. So, this means you are to practice stability before the opportunity. You cultivate peace before the relationship starts. You create order before your expansion. And when the moment comes, you're not scrambling, you are ready. Positioning faith is not only about building, it is about carrying. And this is where Mary becomes such a powerful example. In the Gospel of Luke, after receiving the promise of what God would do through her, Scripture says that Mary pondered these things in her heart. Luke 2 and 19. And that is a very different kind of strength. Mary did not rush to explain everything. She did not seek constant validation. She did not overshare what was sacred. She carried it quietly. And that kind of faith requires emotional maturity. It requires restraint. It requires discernment. It requires trust in timing. Mary understood that not everything that God speaks requires exposure. Some things must be protected while they are still forming. Many women delay what God is doing because they expose what is still fragile to environments that cannot sustain it. They speak too soon and they invite opinions that weakens their confidence. This means they are trying to make the promise visible before it is ready. But the purposeful woman learns how to hold revelation with wisdom. She knows when to speak and she knows when to stay silent. She knows who has access and who does not. She's not hiding in fear. She is stewarding in maturity. This is not passivity. This is strength. So, as you position yourself to receive, faith begins to show up in small and practical ways. It shows up in your ability to remain calm when others are rushing. It shows up in your stability when others are emotional. It shows up in your discernment when others are reactive. It shows up in your consistency when others are distracted and you begin to live from a place of quiet confidence rather than constant striving. This is the shift from waiting to readiness. Waiting focuses on when something will happen. Readiness focuses on who you are becoming while it unfolds. The deeper work of this season is internal. It is the formation of your inner world. Your peace is becoming stable. Your identity is becoming anchored. Your boundaries are becoming clearer. And your reactions are becoming wiser. You are no longer easily moved by urgency or comparison. This is not stagnation. This is stabilization. And stabilization is what will allow your convergence. When the right relationships, opportunities, and doors begin to appear, you will have the capacity to respond with wisdom rather than fear. You will not rush. You will not overcommit. You will not abandon your structure. Instead, you will welcome what aligns while maintaining the life you have built. Some of you feel quiet right now, not because nothing is happening, but because you are carrying, you are building, you're becoming. And when this season shifts, it will appear sudden to others, but you will know that it is the result of years of obedience, formation, and trust. This is strong faith. This is not dramatic. It's not anxious. It's not loud. It is steady, wise, and anchored in truth. It builds before it sees. It carries without forcing. It prepares without striving. It trusts that what God has spoken will unfold in the right time and in the right way. The purposeful woman does not rush what God is forming. She does not overcrowd her life with noise, urgency, or distraction. She creates space. She guards her peace. She orders her rhythms. She becomes emotionally and spiritually available so that when the relationships, opportunities, and doors begin to appear, she has the capacity to receive them with wisdom and stability. This is why she builds before the rain. This is why she carries what is sacred in the quiet. This is why she prepares long before the moment arrives. And when the appointed time comes, as Habakkuk 2 and 3 reminds us, the vision will speak. It will not delay, and she will not be overwhelmed because she has already become the woman who can carry it. So, this week, the purposeful woman moves from waiting into positioning. She builds like Noah. She carries like Mary. She protects what is sacred. She prepares for convergence. And she trusts that when the moment arrives, she will not panic, not strive, or rush, because she has already become the woman who can carry it. Why? Because you are the purposeful woman.